this is a best practice called location sequencing. So that means when you are configuring your locations, for picking purposes, for even for replenishment purposes, even for put away purposes in the reserve area, it's on top of your location naming, right? I mean, there is aisle bay level position, and you picked a naming convention, right, for whatever reason. On top of it, there is also ability to configure something called location sequence. That means I want to go in this aisle, I want to start here, and then I want to go in this direction and then make a turn and then come back in this direction and then again make a turn and then go in this direction. So like that. So when you do that, what happens is people are picking in location sequence. That means they're not going zigzag. They're going in location sequence, right? And that optimizes the picking process because they are walking less, or they're optimally walking. And the last thing you want people doing is just walking without doing picking, because anytime walking happens, that means it's unproductive labor, and walking doesn't directly translate to picks. I mean the more you pick, the more you can ship. The more you ship, the more you can invoice, and the more you invoice, the more money you make, and everybody's happy, right? More money is coming into the company. So it's very important to follow this location sequence because it makes everything optimal. And also I've seen in some WMSs where they could, while they're picking for the current location, especially in a path where they're walking through and then picking something like a batch picking process or something, not only they can see their current location where they're picking from, they could even see the next location where they have to go to. And based on that, they could even skip aisles. If there are no picks in that aisle, there is no point in going through that aisle, even though the fixed pick path was that. That makes it even efficient if your picks are kind of little sporadic, right? Not dense, and that's very difficult to control because it's all based on the order that's coming in. With A, B, C SKUs, you can control it to some extent, but it's not going to be always absolutely perfectly controllable, right? That's something to think about. So the location sequencing is very important. And again, from a put away perspective, right? Even when after the person has received the product, built this pallets, and then let's say he goes to the reserve area and then drops off case 1, case 3, case 5, case 7, case 6, case 8, like that, right? When he's dropping off, you want him to go in the location sequence, right? So that's very important. I mean, it might, and also, if you have to tweak the location sequence, based on, slotting optimization, take a look at that, right? And something that it would be beneficial is, put a pedometer on your pickers and then measure, the distance that they're walking. And they're walking all day. That means that's miles and miles of distance. So, looking at that and then making sure the location sequence is followed and making sure, they're picking faster and minimizing the, walk time without doing picking, right? That's going to help a lot to ensure that their picking process is optimal, right? And I mean, this is something that, I've done in my WMS implementation. I've done all the time. And that's a standard practice. But I was amazed to see other places where they didn't have this. And people are picking by tribal knowledge. People are picking by just, every time they're looking at, hey, this is where I need to go next. And, the paper picking process is also there. And the locations are listed in sequence and they follow that sequence. It's not always done. It's something simple that you could do pretty quickly and get some good, gains out of your picking, gains of efficiency from your picking process. Something to think about, right? Something to think about. And let's know. Hopefully this is helpful. And please let us know your comments. And of course, watch all the other best practice videos we have in our YouTube channel. And thank you for the time.